Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Talkin Movies. I'm your host, the real Geno Reynolds. Today on the program, we're going to be talking about David Tennant's new movie called Bad Samaritan. This movie is about a pair of thieves that have a pretty successful scam going. They run a valet service where after they park the people's cars, they drive to those people's houses and rob them blind. After an obviously rich customer drops off his car, one of the thieves goes to that guy's house only to find that the man has a woman captive inside. The thief leaves to save his own skin, but later has a crisis of conscience and decides that he wants to go help her. By doing this, he discovers that her captor is a very dangerous man. A friend of mine told me about this movie, but I had forgotten all about it. He's a big David Tennant fan, and I like David Tennant too. He's like, "Did you hear about this movie?" I was like, "No, I haven't." And that was the last I remembered of it. Then I was surprised that it showed up at our theater this week. I was like, "Oh, that David Tennant movie is coming to our theater," and we didn't even get Overboard, which was advertised to the moon. So I was kind of surprised by that. But anyway, I decided to see this because I was interested in it because I like David Tennant and the premise seemed promising. Unfortunately, the movie's decent, but it wasn't anything real special to me. The movie was just an okay thriller. I had a good time watching it, but really, a lot of it feels cliche. I was invested into the movie until the end, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of cliche things going on. Anything that I didn't feel was cliche just wasn't really that interesting to me. But that being said, I still was invested until the end of the movie, like I said. There's no mystery. I like this. There's no mystery that Tennant's character is the villain. At least to the two main friend characters in the audience. Now, everyone else in the movie, that's a different story. While Tennant's character is entertaining, the why and what he's doing just wasn't very compelling to me. Like I said, you'll be interested, but when everything becomes clear, it kind of just comes off as a bit meh. Again, he's very entertaining though. So, like I said, Tennant is the reason for anything that really works in this movie, at least for me. His character's creepiness is what most viewers will be invested in. And while I liked his character, he's been better in way better material, such as Kilgrave and Jessica Jones, for example. One really big part of this movie that I enjoyed, though, was his messing with the main character's life. Long story short, when the character discovers this woman and then Tennant's character discovers that someone was in his house, he starts really messing with everything in this guy's life. He messes with his parents, he messes with his girlfriend, his best friend, just anything he can mess with, he does, and Tennant is very entertaining in doing so. The other characters in the movie are pretty one-dimensional, and that's including the main thief character. He's a starving artist, but he's also a thief, and his girlfriend doesn't know, and his family doesn't know, and of course this comes back to bite him later. But, there's a lot of cliche characters, as I'm going to use that word a lot probably. There's the best friend, the girlfriend, the parents, including a stepfather the main character has issues with, the police detective that buys the villain's story, the FBI agent that just happens to be investigating certain crimes that move the story forward, etc. A lot of it outside of Tennant's character just kind of felt, I'm not going to say that it was something you've seen before, but you've seen similar things before. One thing about this movie, though, is some of the scenes get pretty brutal and violent. There's this one particular and pretty obvious jump scare coming that actually worked because of how violent it got. Tennant's character jumps someone in one of those alleys that someone's going to get jumped in, but he just wails on this person, and even though it's coming, it's still really shocking because of how hard he hits. I mean, he just flies into this shot and just beats the piss out of this person. and it's just really brutal. And it made me jump even though I knew it was coming. Like I said, it's on its way, but it's just that kind of movie. The jump scares that it does use are predictable. But like I said, this one in particular, it worked because Tennant's character is just really erratic and strange and brutal. And, that stuff works. So you probably will get some enjoyment out of that. The last act of the movie gets a bit ridiculous. And I don't really want to spoil it, but a lot of things start to get a bit silly-ish. Despite the rest of the movie kind of being pretty serious. Some lines that are said, things like that, some things that happen, you're just kind of like, okay, now we're getting a little cartoony. Maybe that's not the right word, but there's one part involving a shovel that's very cartoony. But just something that happens and a character says something, it's like, yeah, this is kind of, I didn't expect that in this movie. Again, this movie is an okay thriller. I wouldn't say I would rush out to the theater to go see it. If you're a big fan of David Tennant, you might. As a thriller, though, it's decent. I enjoyed it. I was invested in the end. I thought it felt a little, I don't want to say unfinished, because this isn't like, The Snowman bad when it comes to being incomplete. It's just I felt like there was a few things that could have been resolved in a after story kind of thing, after the last acted in it. I thought there should have been a bit more, but it just kind of ended and it's like, okay, it's over, I guess. So yeah, I wouldn't say rush to the theater to see it though, but if you're in the mood for a thriller and it's out on video or on demand, it wouldn't make a bad rental. Like I said, especially if you like David Tennant, he's extremely fun in this movie and creepy in this movie. So you would really enjoy his performance. But for the rest of it, it's just okay. But like if you like thrillers, there's lots worse out there. Like I said, I'm not gonna not recommend it. I'm not gonna say it's a bad movie. It's not great, but it's good, and you could have a good time watching it if you like these types of movies. For those wondering, I will be reviewing Tully and Overboard. As I mentioned earlier, Overboard didn't come near me. I got to go to Springfield to see that. And Tully I'm probably going to see on Sunday. It's probably going to be Sunday Tully and Monday Overboard, so I should have something up by Monday night, Tuesday morning for those reviews. And that's going to be all for now for Talkin Movies. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. I encourage you to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, everything you need to do on YouTube to get to see these reviews and my future reviews and everything else. So anyway, I am the real Geno Reynolds. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.